139 for 5 is the score. The players taking the field, and Dan Norcross is slipping into my chair here. Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, it's been a terrific partnership by these two, but as you said, Michael, so basically it was a session of two halves, wasn't it? The first half, Umesh and Jasprit Bumrah bowled really well, and then Shardul came on and bowled it too straight, bowled too many drive balls, and then he dropped his length too short and was pulled majestically by Pope, who looks in good nick. The difference in Pope's setup.
Yeah, it's different.
It is, isn't it? I mean, you can see middle and off stumps.
Yeah,
couldn't.
He's opened both sides of the ground up with the way that he's positioned himself and around middle and probably middle stump with his feet. He's going back with his right foot back towards middle. Very similar to Joe Root, which opens up both sides of the ground. When we saw him against New Zealand earlier in the summer, he was very much well over to that offside, wasn't he? Almost batting on off stump, which was very strange. So his technique looks very good. He's just got to give himself a little chance here to get back in after lunch. It's going to be a key half an hour.
And it's going to be Siraj as well from the opposite end from that which he bowled earlier today. He's coming in from the pavilion end. We have three slips positioned at first, second and fourth. There's a deep backward point, which I think is Pujara down there with the knee pads on. He's not the quickest mover in the field. I can't believe that having shin guards is going to aid his mobility. So we have a cover just in front of square, and a sort of extra cover is Siraj. First ball after lunch is defended by Pope into the onside, picked up at shortish mid-wicket. We've got a deep backward square and a deep backward point, which normally is a field set for a bowler that's not quite as quick as Siraj, but I'm not sure how quick he's really been in this match. He's not had quite the same sort of aggression as he had at Lord's, has he?
No, he wasn't as good at Headingley, that's for sure.
He bustles in now, and Pope drives onside up to mid-on along the ground. No run.
He's one of those bowlers that I think he's a bit inconsistent, but when he's hot, he's very hot, and when he's not quite in rhythm, I think as a batter you feel that you can probably hit every ball for four, but you've got to be very wary of this kind of bowler because he has got it in him to bowl that ball, that real high-class delivery. Well,
he's dragged a couple down short outside off stump, hasn't he? But see how he gets on in this spell. He's in now to Pope, and Pope drives off a thick edge down to deep backward point. First run after lunch takes England to 140. The deficit now just 51. When they lost their fifth wicket at 62, it had that familiar feel of an England batting collapse, didn't it? Where they're going to make 120, 130. But this partnership was really dynamic in the early stages. I think they had 64 off 75 at one point in this partnership. Slowed down as we got towards lunch. What did you make of that last over before lunch, though, Michael? Did you get to see it? The comical time wasting.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to waste time in the situation that India find themselves in. Surely you'd want to get another over.
Well, I think what happened was it was a tit-for-tat time-wasting exercise. Was the way I read it, as Bairstow faces up now to his first ball after lunch. Siraj is into, goes forward in defence, there's no run. So Jadeja started the over at 12.57, but the first ball he bowled was a no ball. We know he can bowl overs in about a minute and 20 seconds. So Bairstow just did a little bit of gardening for the first three balls. And then Kohli decided, OK, well, in that case, we'll keep you out here for as long as we feel like. It was sort of curious passage of play. It meant that Bumrah didn't get another over from the pavilion end as Bairstow drives into the offside. He'll get runs for this. Just to the left of cover, Pujara has to waddle round really to his right with those shin guards on and collects the ball, sends a good throw in over the stumps. And they pick up two more. Bairstow 36, 142 for 5.
Yeah, I read into that Virat wanted to get his team into lunch and give them probably a new direction. He wasn't even willing to bowl one extra over just to try and get the wicket. It was almost right, I've seen enough in that last hour. I want to get the team into the dressing room and give it a few new basic directions.
Siraj has got Bairstow in his sights. He's in. Bairstow pushes forward in defence into the cover, straight to the fielder. End of the first over after lunch, 3 from it. Bairstow has 36, Pope 39, England 142 for 5. The deficit now under 50. What I noticed a bit yesterday as well was Bumrah, when he picked up the 2 wickets of the openers, he quite deliberately didn't allow Hasib Hamid to go through his rituals. Hasib likes to sort of tap the bat and look down at the ground and look up, and he goes, sort of walks away a bit and comes back, doesn't he? And Bumrah was just trying to rush him. He did the same a bit with Burns, and there's a little bit there with Siraj, who tried to rush Bairstow there. Bairstow didn't let him, and you're making a face, Michael, because I think I know why. Because Jadeja's bowling the first over after lunch from Vauxhall End.
I mean, he's no doubt going to bowl a few dots and bowl with control, but I thought they'd have had a little burst with
Pope pushes forward in defence to the first delivery from Jadeja up to the covers. It's picked up, there's no run. Kohli at short extra. We've got a city mid-on, no short fielder on the offside except the first slip. Technically, backward point, deep cover, mid-on and mid-off are up, but probably sneak a single to them. They're that deep. Jadeja into Pope, works it straight to that. City mid-on, Pujara, there's no run. Then there's a mid-wicket, a man on the 45. It's a little squarer than 45. Only one deep fielder out. Jadeja into Pope. Pope pushes it to the offside again, straight to Kohli at short extra. There's no run. Will Pope be perhaps tempted to use his feet? There's plenty of space over the infield. Perhaps not straight after lunch. Pope comes forward again. Another full ball. Push to short extra cover. First 4 balls of this over have taken less than a minute. This is what he could have done last over before lunch. Again, Pope drives with a thick edge that's running down towards the deep backward point region. It's being pursued. Don't think it'll make it to the boundary. It is hauled back just inside, and Bairstow calls Pope through for a third. Pope to 42. England 145 for 5. What do you make of this move, Michael? Jadeja, do you not want to start with Bumrah, perhaps?
Well, it tells you that maybe Bumrah's, a bit tired. He's had a long series.
Feeling it.
You just keep going back to the selection of no Ashwin. That you're looking at this attack that India have found. All right, Thakur, he got the runs yesterday, but you need bowlers in these conditions that can, continuously build the pressure in terms of wicket pressure. Look at England's 4 seamers yesterday. All 4 of them looked like they were going to get wickets. Whereas so far, it's only been 2 of this attack that's looked like getting wickets for India.
Jadeja in round the wicket to Bairstow. His first ball from Jadeja gets a thick inside edge and it squirts that man. It's got a short, fine leg or backward square leg. Really, end of the over. 145 for 5, Bairstow 36, Pope 42. There was talk before this game of Bumrah and Shami certainly being in the red zone. Number of overs they'd bowled. They bowled, we checked yesterday, bowled a little fewer than Robinson and Anderson. But obviously there's concerns about managing that workload, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and understandably, I think Darren Lima used to always say to me at Yorkshire, when you've got 2 bowlers on that you necessarily want to keep on, just milk it. Don't hit them out the attack.
Siraj starts a new over to Pope, and Pope flicks this away nicely, square of the wicket on the onside. Should just be the one. He's coming back for a second. Throw comes in at the non-striker's end, and Bairstow's home. He scampers well, Bairstow. Pope to 44. 147 for 5.
Well, this has so far been the best that I've seen of Ollie Pope in a test year. Right, he got that really nice 100 in South Africa, but in the pressure situation that he found himself in, the pressure for his place in the side, to get 44 not out in 75 deliveries. I've not seen any of those. Those big flamboyant drives that has been a bit of his downfall.
Yep.
Been very compact. He's defended nicely. He's played straight. Had good options on the offside and the onside.
He's just adjusting his shoelaces and now putting his gloves back on. The England batters are, it feels to me, determined to play the game at their pace at the moment. The Indians just trying to hurry them up occasionally, and Pope and Bairstow aren't letting it happen.
It's Test cricket. It's played at a snail's pace, isn't it?
Yep. Siraj in to Pope. Pope drives into the ground. It's fielded by Jadeja at extra cover. It's firmly struck. Went straight into the ground and came up around about shoulder height.
Yeah, I just look at, Pope's now 44, and these are the times as a player, the ball's into its 45th over, you have to capitalise. This has to be the day that Ollie Pope goes to get the score. He can't gift his wicket away. If he gets a good ball, he gets a good ball, but he can't gift a soft dismissal. It's perfectly set for a score, a big score.
Siraj is into him, and Pope drives nicely into the onside to the right of mid-on. He makes a good tumbling stop. They get through for a single, 148 for 5, Pope to 45. No alarms for England since lunch. Not really been the intensity, doesn't feel like the intensity that there was earlier. Start of the play, Kohli was up for everything. He's jumping around, that slip, hitting the ball, not just passing the bat, sometimes just swinging away at the gloves of the keeper, and he was up for it. Just down a little bit at the moment. Siraj into Bairstow, who works this awkwardly. Across his hip, really, to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Straight along the ground. The partnership now 86 for the 6th wicket.
In just 20 overs.
20 overs. Thank you, Andy. She's in stark contrast to how many runs have been scored the day when they were brought together, of how many overs. Siraj into Bairstow, who pushes into the offside. Up to sort of extra cover, really. Mid-off Moose's left of field. No run.
The wicket of Milan fell on the 9th over of the day. Sorry, the 8th over of the day. At which point only 9 runs have been scored.
Yeah, it's sort of the inverse of yesterday's first session, isn't it? Where runs came pretty freely at the start of the session and then dried up completely for 45 balls or so. Siraj into Bairstow. Bairstow drives straight, but straight to mid-on. And there is no run. End of the over. 148 for 5. Bairstow 36. Pope 45. I haven't seen Umesh Yadav either. I mean, he can't have a heavy workload. Particularly, it's his first test of the series.
Yeah, I must admit, I think the last couple of games, you could argue that Virat Kohli started sessions and innings with some in different combinations. Ishant Sharma at Headingley was very odd for taking that new ball in the first inning. He started day 2, having been the worst bowler on day 1. There has been a few calls that you could question.
Jadeja starts a new over from the Vauxhall end. Pope comes forward in defence to a full delivery on middle stump, pushes back to the bowler, and there's no run. I've not seen yet any signs of turn from Jadeja. This is his 5th over of the day. Here he is again. This time Pope advances slightly and uses his feet to get to the pitch of the ball, but can only push it back to the bowler. Jadeja very much sort of bowler who likes to get his hand on the ball. Doesn't really want fielders getting in the way. There is Pope again, coming down the wicket again, almost getting to the pitch of the ball, and again pushing it back to Jadeja. And now Pope's just going to take his time a little bit as Jadeja is rushing him. He's ready again. And he comes forward in defence, pushes back to Jadeja each time. The ball has just been played straight back to the bowler. It's come pretty much out of the middle of Pope's bat. No turn. Here is Jadeja. Pope, shorter one, works it into the onside. So there's a mild hesitation, but Bairstow takes the call and runs through for the single. 149 for 5. Pope to 46. He's looking altogether more organised today, Pope. Just bringing himself back across the stumps. It's amazing how a player can have got himself a first-class average in excess of 60, batting on middle and leg, and then change everything. Then get out cheaply frequently. Jadeja into Bairstow, pushes it to the offside, square of the wicket, finds the gap, picks up a single, and the England 150 is up. 150 for 5. Bairstow has 37, Pope 46. Bairstow will retain strike at the start of the next over. A ripple of applause rings round the oval. Did you ever do sort of massive tinkering with your technique?
Yeah, technique, yeah. Trigger movements. Yeah, quite often you're always kind of searching for improvement. But that movement that we saw from Ollie Pope a few tests ago was just so obviously a poor one. Everyone that watched went, oh, wait a minute, what's going on there? It just doesn't look right at all.
How do you get yourself into that kind of a pickle, though? I mean,
overcomplicating, too many people telling you, or you as an individual looking at too many other players and the way that they play, maybe looking at Steve Smith, the way that he's got over to off stump, and it's worked for him, trying to copy that, I guess. But you know, you've always got to have in the back of your mind, what is it that works for you? You know, what are the movements and the positions that you need to get in to get the best out of yourself?
See, it wasn't really...
Joe Root, he tinkered for quite a while.
Siraj starts a new over. Bairstow drives firmly, nicely, but straight to mid-off. Along the ground. There's no run. What's the score at lunch, Andy? 139?
9 for 5.
139. So 11 runs have been added since lunch. Bairstow just wants people to sit down next to the sight screen. I think that's what we've got going on here. Being very particular. There's a little bit of movement away to his right, near where the changing rooms are here at the Oval, which is just to the right of the pavilion. The old commentary box used to be there. And Siraj is in. To Bairstow, drives again, but he can't beat mid-off, this time to mid-off's left. It's finding the middle of Bairstow's bat at the moment. What have you made of Bairstow today? He's looked solid again. He's looked in good form.
Yeah, he's played nicely throughout the series since he's come back into the England side. But he's got to this position before, hasn't he? 30, 40, 50. He's got to make it count, go and get the big score, make the difference. I was saying yesterday afternoon, I feel that whichever team gets one of their players individually to 100 will be the team that goes on to win the game.
Yeah, low-scoring match you're anticipating from here, are you?
Well, I just think, the pitch is playing fine. We've seen that in the last hour or so's cricket.
Siraj in to Bairstow, who drives firmly, but to the newly positioned short extra cover. The man at fourth slip has come out.
So if one of these two gets 100, that lead's going to be plenty, isn't it?
Yep.
In the second innings, India can reduce England to something like just a 30 or 40 run lead, which they could do. Another no ball that's just been bowled. Virat Kohli or Pujara or Rohit gets 100. Well, they'll have to be chasing quite a few in the second innings, England.
Bairstow waits and then flicks into the onside, full ball on the pads, but this time straight to short mid-wicket. There's no run. Well, the pitch does improve here. CricViz said that day 2 was the best day, didn't they? I think their database said day 2 at the Oval's the best. I mean, obviously each pitch is different. For England, as much as anything else, they want England's batters spend time in the middle to give their bowlers a bit of a rest. It's not that long ago they were bowling. Siraj bustles in again, and Bairstow defends stoutly. Straight back past the bowler. Mid-on moves to his left to field. Again, there's no run. Anderson and Robinson would just love not to have to come out until tomorrow, wouldn't they? Yeah. Well, I mean, bowlers never want to bowl, do they?
Well, they might still get that opportunity to come back tomorrow. I mean, the pitch isn't doing a great deal. There's no swing. There's not a great deal of seam. I guess India are bowling for that mistake, aren't they? They're trying to bowl the dots to force the error.
Siraj in, and Bairstow struck to the pad. Big appeal this time. Kohli wants it, and up goes the finger. Bairstow has given out LBW, and he's instantly gone for the referral. I don't think it's because of inside edge. I think he just can't believe it. I think he thinks it's either going down or gone over the top. Umpire was quick to raise the finger. Kohli,
player review for LBW. On-field decision is out. It's a fair delivery.
Kohli was adamant. He ran from his position at first slip, ran towards the umpire.
I don't think there's an inside edge.
How high is it? It is quite high. It's above the knee roll.
Just confirm that with Ultra Edge, please, Mark.
It does seem back into Bairstow. That's where you try and bowl to Johnny Bairstow, nipping the ball back.
It's a big gap between bat and ball.
Okay, no bat involved, so ball tracking when available, please.
Has it done too much? Is it going down that leg side down?
I think it's umpire's call.
I'm not sure.
Clipping.
Not sure.
Pitching outside off.
Oh, hitting.
Line and hit
Out.
wickets. So stay with your original decision of out, Richard. I'll let you know when you're on screen.
Well, there you go. India, they'd gone very flat after lunch, but Siraj has found one to nip back in, and yet another LBW. We've seen a lot of them in this series, and Bairstow yet again, getting in and getting out. Can't make it to 40, made it to 37 on this occasion, and now the game is right back in the balance. 151 for 6, England.
Yeah, and me and you were talking about Anderson and Robinson potentially coming back.
No, not anymore.
Well, it's a decent ball, actually. It nips back off the seam, the first one that we've seen move for quite a while. Siraj just joining the party. He's just that kind of bowler. But every now and again, he just gets one. He looks innocuous for a long period. He looks like he's perfect to face, and then from nowhere, he just gets a bit of late movement. And it trapped Johnny Bairstow on the crease. Good decision from Richard Illingworth. Moeen Ali now in at number 8. There's Wokes to come, Ollie Robinson to come. There's a little bit left in the tank for England.
Yeah, but it's right back in the balance, so you'd have to say, wouldn't you? 151 for 6. The deficit now 40. A new batter come to the crease. I can't believe we'll see Jadeja bowling the next over. I'd imagine that will mean Bumrah or Umesh Yadav comes back in.
You'd have to think so.
So, do you know, I think I probably heard the collective screams of a few Test Match Special listeners while we were talking about Robinson and Anderson not going to bowl until tomorrow.
Yes.
And then that wicket game.
Yes.
You do realise that they're currently burning effigies of you and me.
Yeah, but I'll keep saying this, but we can't have any impact on the game.
Well, I can't have, but you know, who knows? Who knows what you get up to? Siraj into Moeen Ali, and Moeen all plays and misses at a ball in the channel outside the off stump. That is the end of the over. Successful one for Siraj and for India. England 151 for 6. Moeen yet to score. Pope on 46, much depending on him. Thoughts, well, words from Andy Zaltzman, and then it's going to be Isha Guha.
Johnny Bairstow 37 from 77 balls with 7 fours. The partnership 89 in 22.2 overs. It's Bairstow's 10th quarter century of the year in 14 Test innings, but only once has he reached 50. That was his 57 at Lord's. He's been out, mentioned earlier on, 6 times between 28 and 30, and he's added a 37 to that today.
I'm not too sure about Johnny Bairstow. He's on the balcony, he's just on the TV screen. I'm not too sure what happened when he went up the stairs or...
Oh, I think they were giving him a bit of stick for reviewing it, weren't they? It was a good ball. Jadeja bowling to Pope, crouches, gets deep into his crease, cuts to point, no run.
It looked like he was having a bit of a ding-dong with someone sat in the stand. Come up the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Not too sure what that was about.
You could understand why he reviewed as Pope forward, pushing to the offside, no run. There's a deep cover out for Ollie Pope. And man in catching quite straight. Silly mid-on. There's also a mid-on, just pushing back ever so slightly as Jadeja is bowling to Pope, who opens himself up on the front foot, guides it out to that deep cover for a single, moves to 47, 152 for 6 now. England trailing by 39. Well, what a day we've had.
Entertaining, Ish.
We were just doing, myself and Mark Ramprakash were doing a little piece, lunchtime piece around where India should maybe bowl to the Pope and Bairstow, and it was not straight and at the stumps.
Oh, you've gone into channel, were you?
We were going into channel. So we've just been proved wrong. As Jadeja to Moeen Ali, turns it around the corner, but just to the left of that slip that's in position. He'll get that away down to the fine leg boundary. First runs for Moeen Ali. For 156 for 6, trailing by 35.
Yeah, just using the angle and the pace that Jadeja bowls at. It's not far away from Pujara in at a short leg, who's positioned just behind square. He's gone straight to that leg slip now. The horse has bolted, Virat. Just put the fielder exactly where that ball went.
Jadeja over the wicket. Moeen Ali shapes to drive and then just places his bat down, covering the ball, pats it back. Yeah, you can see that piece, that very insightful piece tonight on the highlights, BBC 4, 7 o'clock. As Moeen Ali works the ball to mid-wicket, no run.
You're going to have to record a retraction to put after it.
Redaction. That's the beauty of the highlights, though. You can change it. 156 for 6 then at the end of the over, trailing by 35. Not that we do much.
No, we don't do that.
No, we never do. But it was good to hear from Ramps, someone who knows this ground tremendously well. And talking to him about Ollie Pope and the fact that he's barely played any red ball cricket, but he's looked at ease out in the middle, and I just wonder if playing at home, his home patch, has anything to do with that.
No, definitely. I mean, his record here is tremendous in first class cricket. See, I would always say to a bowling unit bowling at Johnny Bairstow that you have to target the stumps.
Yeah.
So,
Which they did do
yeah.
initially.
But they had the wrong field.
Yeah.
You know, I think you've got to always target the stunt for Johnny Bairstow because of that. You know, that bat and pad gets opened up. We've seen him get bowled many times. He's now trying to get his pads in the line to make sure he doesn't get bowled, and he keeps getting out LBW. It's a bit of cat and mouse with Johnny's technique in Test match cricket. Something gone on. You can see that the stewards are being talked to down that side of the ground. I'm not too sure what's happened with Johnny Bairstow.
Pope on 47. Siraj bowls, guides it to extra cover, no run off the front foot.
And I think this is a good field because they put a short extra cover. They've got an extra cover in mid-off. They've got this cover point behind square on the boundary on the offside. They've got 2 slips, quite spread out. They've got a mid-wicket and a mid-on. And it's clear that he's trying to bowl full and he's trying to get the ball nipping back from around 5th stump onto the stumps.
Yep.
And if you try and play the drive, well, there's not a great deal of gaps there through the offside for him to aim to. I wonder what's happened with Johnny over there. It's
I'm just guessing, but I do think someone's just got into him about that review as Pope works it to mid-on, no run. And that line that you're talking about from Siraj, I think the problem in that last session was that they were probably starting it a bit too straight.
yeah.
And probably a bit too full as well. If you bowl it on a good length, you allow it to kind of deviate off the seam and get a batter into trouble. If you're bowling it full, it's quite easy to get to the pitch of the ball. There's Siraj steaming in past the stumps. Off the hip, plays it to mid-wicket. Ollie Pope. Breezes up here at the Kia Oval. Gentle haze over on the far side of the ground. Bit of blue sky above us here, and the sun is out. It's a wonderful Friday afternoon. We'll see a few more people filter in, no doubt. Finishing early as Pope turns it to mid-wicket off the front foot, no run.
See, I reckon if I was bowling to Ollie Pope, I'd bowl the same line, the same channels, but I'd have my short extra cover at short mid-wicket. And because the ball's nipping back just slightly, you try and say to him, go and try and hit through the offside, and that's where a gap might get created. If you kind of hit him with the movement back in, it's quite a safe shot. There's quite a big gap between mid-on and mid-wicket, and he's hit a few nice strokes through that gap so far.
Pope back into his crease and plays the ball back down the pitch to Siraj. So he spins the bat in his hand, Alex Stewart style.
Got some nice lunches, a bit of beef.
Did you?
Not yet, it's coming. I just saw it.
Oh, I went for the prawns and the salmon.
You were down in that room down below, weren't you? It's a rowdy room.
I was fearing for you as I walked out.
Yeah, you have plenty of...
What's it called, the green room?
Yeah, a lot of hospitality sections here at the Oval. It's lively.
Siraj past the stumps to Pope, who drives to cover, no run. I saw bumped into, or past Adil Ray.
Oh yeah, Adil Ray's in there. Clive Woodward.
Oh, is he?
Clive, yeah. Sherry Matthews is there. Singer. Lawrence Dallaglio, he's always around the cricket. I think Gary Lineker's here today.
Is he?
Yeah, on Instagram that he's taking a picture from the Oval. You always get the stars out in London, don't you?
On that rooftop.
I once got locked in here after a Test match. It was a few years ago when England had played here and won, and I ended up on the roof terrace having a few jars. Graham Thorpe came to join us, England coach.
Jadeja continuing from the Vauxhall end. Moeen Ali forward and blocking the ball back down the pitch.
Beef Johnson, the golfer, he was giving us a chipping lesson up there. There was a few of us, Collingwood and a few others sat around. Before we knew it, we kind of went to get out, and everything was locked up. We were locked in. Had to climb the fence.
As Ali turns the ball to mid-wicket. A lock-in, was it?
Yeah, we didn't realise. I don't
I'm surprised
think...
you wanted to leave. Just keep it going. Did they run out of
It was late.
liquid? Jadeja bowls, plays that late Moeen Ali, guiding it to a wideish slip.
Just look at the leg slip, Pujara, how deep he is for Jadeja. That's how quick he bowls it. He's a good, 6 feet back? He's a long way back. And also the slip's quite deep for a spinner.
Jadeja through his action again. Moeen Ali on the front foot, whipping the ball to mid-wicket, no run.
Might have been Alistair Cook's last game, actually.
That you got locked up here?
Yeah.
Right.
Might have been that game.
Moeen Ali, forward press and solid defence, angled back, head wide over the ball. Nothing between bat and pad. He must have spent a few times here at the Oval, post-match, as Moeen Ali again lunges forwards and covers the ball at the end of the over. England 156 for 6, trailing by 35. Ali 4, Pope 47. After a game on the field.
Alex Stewart's last Test match against South Africa in 2003. It was we won the game, so we drew the series, and we ended up just sitting in the dressing room for a long while. The big baths, the old baths that they have. I don't know if you've still got them here at the Oval, but big old baths. And then we ended up playing football with those Swiss balls.
Oh yeah.
That you're meant to do a bit of Pilates on. Big game of
Danger.
Swiss ball.
It's not what you want to do at the start of a series.
Nah, Alex last day in international cricket was playing Swiss ball football on the outfield at the Oval at about 12 o'clock at night.
Love it. The things you do.
Oh, it was quite a long day, because that game finished quite early on day 5, didn't it?
It was a long afternoon. I think we were chasing one.
Classic Test, wasn't it?
Yeah,
South Africa
just
360 for 4 on day 1 or something.
And then we got a run out on day 1, I think. We might have run out Herschel Gibbs.
Siraj in. Pope clips it down to fine leg for 4. Gets it fine enough to beat that man at long leg, running to his right. Angled down the leg side from Siraj. And that is 50 for Ollie Pope on his return to the Test team. A wonderful moment for him as he shakes hands with Moeen Ali. He raises his back to the crowd, to the dressing room. And he's played beautifully. We think he's barely played any red ball cricket of late. He's looked right at home, back on his home patch. As Michael Vaughan has slipped out, Siraj bowls to Pope, who's defending, back to mid-on. No run. Deep Dasgupta is in.
Hello, Usha.
So, big wicket of Johnny Bairstow, but Pope still looking good.
He is. He's looked so good. Very compact, very solid, very comfortable. Still not convinced whether India should be bowling that line to him.
As Pope drives this time, Siraj trying to stop it with his left hand, parries it to mid-off. Bowling a lot tighter, sort of that off-stump line, and that ball that went for 4, that was pretty much down the leg side, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And we've mentioned this before, that Siraj has that. Every now and then he'll bowl a boundary delivery. Fielder been pushed behind on the onside, got a deep square leg now. More of a protection for anything which is on Ollie Pope's bat.
Well, they haven't really tried too much short stuff. There was one ball that was bowled to him from Shardul Thakur, but it was quite slow and he put it away as Pope on the back foot, just guiding it to a vacant point. There's a man out at deep point there. So he comes through for 1, moves to 52, 161 for 6, trailing by 30 England.
Yeah, I won't mind going a little defensive with Ollie Pope, because the way that he's batting, he's looked so comfortable. Maybe just be a little more defensive, bowl that channel outside off stump, and be patient with that. Because he's one of those batters who like the ball coming onto the bat. He likes getting those runs. He's a very busy player.
The left-handed Moeen Ali on strike 2, slips in the gully in position for Siraj, who's going to continue over the wicket. Past the stumps now. Moeen Ali, shoulders, arms, lets it go. Any memories for you, Deep? Post-match, Michael Vaughan was telling us about how he got locked in here at the Oval after a Test match. I think it was 2 years ago now, 2018, or maybe 3 years ago. And then spending a bit of time on the outfield after Alex Stewart's retirement. He was still here at midnight, playing football with a Swiss ball. Yourself, Eden Gardens, any memories from there? As Siraj again bowls wide of the off stump, angled across Moeen Ali, lets it go. End of the over, 161 for 6 England, trailing by 30.
Well, I hope I don't get into trouble for saying this, but I mean, one of the celebrations I remember, obviously, Eden Gardens, we won the semi-finals against Mumbai, and generally Mumbai they dominate first-class cricket, right? So we won the semi-final, qualified, or we got through to the finals, and you're not allowed to get beers inside the dressing room there, and we managed to sneak in a few. Like I said, I hope.
Standard practice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
in
not
this country anyway.
Yeah, not back there. But then somehow we managed to, and then we also managed. All of us, we went.
As Jadeja bowls to Pope, who's back in his crease and working it to fine leg, and misses the ball and has to dive after it. Mohammad Siraj there as Pope exploits that misfield and comes back for 2. Moves to 163 for 6. Pope to 54.
Yeah, and after that, we went to a pub next to the stadium.
As Jadeja bowls slower this time to Pope, who's covering the ball in front of the stumps. No run.
Yeah, and all of us went there, and end of the day, we managed to get our association to pay for it as well.
That's the best possible after party. Is Pope is lunging forwards and right on top of the ball.
Yeah, a few celebration, but obviously nothing as brilliant as the post-match 2011 World Cup.
Pope this time forward pressed and back in his crease, working it out past Siraj this time out to the deep backward square boundary. Comes back for 2. Throw is sent in. Siraj pulling it up about 5 metres off the boundary rope. There is 165 for 6 now. England trailing by 26. Pope to 56.
Yeah, the 2011 post-match. That was
The Wankhede.
Wankhede, and then from there to the Taj, where the teams were staying, and obviously I wasn't part of the team.
As Pope forward presses again, this time just brings that back leg across as he defends the ball back down the pitch.
Yeah, but called up a few guys and they said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm here." He said, "Come over to Taj." It's like, yeah, and then left at 7 in the morning.
As Pope drives out to deep cover for a single, full toss from Jadeja, pitching it up as that is the end of the over. 166 for 6. Ali on 4, Pope 56.
Ollie Pope's half century came from his 92nd ball with his 6th 4. It's his 7th 50-plus score in Test cricket. His first in his last 9 tests, and the previous 8 high score of 34 and an average of 19 after having a good run in the 2019-20 winter and the early part of last summer.
Well played, Ollie Pope. He'll be wanting to go on to those 3 figures, no doubt. No one's been able to do that yet in this Test match. Yeah, you're talking about the Taj there, Nariman Point. There's quite a few hotels around that sort of area.
Yeah.
Been over to the
And then-
Indian Premier League, and there's parties that go on till generally, like you're saying, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you know about a few.
Just a couple. As Shardul Thakur is coming back into the attack from the pavilion end.
Yeah, he's got a job to do here, Shardul Thakur, and we were talking about it a while ago. Shardul, he comes from Mumbai, has played a lot of first-class cricket for Mumbai, and generally what they do is when there is a partnership building or there's a batter who's batting really well, they bowl this line outside off stump, which is foolish, but around 7 stump to frustrate a set batsman. It's not a bad idea to try and do the same. It's got 6 fielders on the offside.
Pope back into his crease, cuts out to that wide third. Jasprit Bumrah walks to the ball, but with the stern movements, his arms walking as if he's marching, and collects the ball, throws it in, comes through for a single. Pope to 58, 167 for 6, trailing by 24 now. Oh, how they miss Ashwin at this stage.
Oh, yes.
Deep.
Oh, yes. I mean, let's not even go there, Isha. Come on, we've been talking about this for the last 3 Test matches now. Well, obviously the other side of the argument could be the fact that Shardul got those runs. It would have been either him or Ashwin. But again, that does not mean that Ashwin wouldn't have got runs. But yeah, it's what ifs.
India, though, if they get another wicket here, Thakur bowling short to Moeen Ali, ducks underneath that one. They feel that they can try and wrap this innings up quickly. England trailing by 24.
But Chris Wokes after this, and most of these guys were there in 2018 as well, and Chris Wokes was brilliant with the bat, 100 at Lords, and would have memories of that. So got to be careful. India's got to be really, really careful here.
Sun coming out across the oval as Thakur is past the stumps. Moeen Ali defending to mid-off. No run.
But this is a good tactic, if I think I'm reading it correctly, that be a little more defensive against Oli Pope, who's looking good, bowl that channel outside off stump, and then once you get the new batter, which is Moeen Ali, when he's on strike, you try and attack him with a lot more attacking feel.
Well, I stand corrected. Johnny Bairstow was upset with something as he walked off the pitch as Shardul Thakur is in to Moeen Ali, who solidly defends back down the pitch. And I thought it was someone one of the spectators calling out to him and jeering him for the review. But apparently it was Johnny being annoyed with stewards in the orange and yellow jackets moving behind the bowler's arm in front of the players' room.
Yeah, he was quite disappointed while he was batting as well. I mean, you could see that he was a little bit agitated with all the movement behind the bowler's arm.
Moeen Ali, bat hovering, waving above the stumps as Shardul Thakur approaches, bowls a good length, and Moeen Ali gets in and behind it, plays it down. Big innings from Moeen Ali as well, you would say.
Yeah, big innings. I mean, as the English vice captain, bit of responsibility on him as well. Okay, not happy with that ball, Shardul Thakur. Out comes the gauge, called the handcuffs.
You could say the handcuffs.
The handcuffs.
That's what they look like, yeah.
They call it the ball cuffs then.
Thakur bowls back of a length, rising delivery, and Moeen Ali just gets on his toes and plays it down into the ground. At the end of the over, 167 for 6, trailing by 24. Ali 4, Pope 58. What have you just seen there, Deep? And then it will be Simon Mann.
Yeah, I just see a really young cricket fan with a banner says, "Mom, Dad's not taking me to school." Oops, Dad, you're in trouble. But don't you worry, you learn a lot coming and watching cricket as well.
Yeah, it's got everything, isn't it? Maths and physics.
Yeah.
A bit of, watching grass grow occasionally during slow passages of play.
That's not going to happen here, Andy. This game's going to move fast, I can assure you that.
No one's back at school yet, are they? We're still in the summer holidays.
No, my son's starting school today.
I think some schools have gone back.
Oh, have they? Okay.
Every day's a school day for you, isn't it, Simon?
It is. Right, is Pope on strike on 58, 167 for 6, and it's going to be Jasprit Bumrah to bowl. Bowling from the Vauxhall then. Sun disappeared behind some high cloud for the moment. 2 slips in the gully. Here is Bumrah into bowl to Pope. Pope knocks it away into the offside, takes a single into a little gap to the left of cover. So one more every run precious in a tight game like this. 168 for 6. Pope moves to 59. I can reveal that this is the first time that Ollie Pope and Moeen Ali have batted together in a test match.
Just that they've only played one test together before. That was in Chennai earlier this year. So it's Pope's 20th test, but most of his games have coincided with the parts of Moeen's career that he's been out the side.
And Moeen's playing his
64th.
Yeah. This is Bumrah bowling to Moeen, who's on 4. 2 slips in the gully for Moeen as well. Bumrah bowls, and that's off the pad, I think, of Moeen. It's going down 5 for 4. Just wait for the signal from the umpire. It did go very quickly, which often suggests bat, but it was pad. Signal by umpire Wolf. As I was saying, every run absolutely vital. England 19 runs behind now, Deep.
Yeah, not a great delivery, is it? Pitching on leg and then going on to his pads, Moeen Ali. Yeah, 4 runs added, not just 19. But at least they've got Bumrah back. That's good to see. It's been the pick of the bowlers so far. Bumrah, India desperately need wickets here.
Bumrah goes into bowl to Moeen full. Moeen plays that firmly, nicely timed, straight to mid-on. And there is no run. England have 2 players out there who've scored Test hundreds and one to come who scored a Test 100, even though they are 6 down. So there is some power to add here, but that batting potential doesn't always translate into runs. So India know that they're not far away, but also that there is that possibility that England could get a reasonable lead if these two, and Woakes backed well. Bumrah bowls to Moeen, wide of off stump. Moeen leaves quite wide. No need to play at that unless he was really minded to throw the bat at it. Perhaps the sort of shot he would have played later in his innings, but not early on. And that was his 20th ball. 172 for 6. England recovering. They were 62 for 5.
Yeah, I mean that partnership was so good between Bairstow and Olipo. Both of them look really dangerous, and and the Indian bowlers weren't that great, to be honest. That spell of 7-8 overs in between.
He put on 89. Bumrah bowls to Moeen outside the off stump, a bit closer this time to the off stump. Again, Moeen not tempted to play at that. Again, across him, taken by punt.
I wonder if it's, I mean, if India can put a short leg there, and it's well documented, his Moeen's challenges against the short ball. Not necessarily have to bowl the short ball, just get somebody close to him with a helmet on. Just make him think a bit before getting that front foot out, because he's so good through the offside, especially off the front foot.
Back with Bumrah, past the umpire now, up to the stumps. Bowls to Moeen, and Moeen goes for it this time, drives, but straight to cover. And there's a nice fluent shot on the up. Deep's getting very frustrated next to the captain in him. 172 for 6 at the end of the over.
Listen, that's exactly what I was talking about the ball before, right? You don't want him to be that confident getting his front foot across and in front. So just get that one feeler under the lid, close to his body.
Who's going off there at the far end of the ground? Is it Jadeja?
Jadeja, that's right.
And who's come on? We'll sort that out for you. 172 for 6. Results?
A better spell from Siraj after lunch, 1 for 12 from 5 overs after going 0 for 24 in his first 5 over 3 short spells. But he has looked a little less effective in these last 2 games, and his speed's down from on average 83.5 miles an hour in the first 2 tests down to just over 81.5 miles an hour in tests 3 and 4. Kind of difference can even a drop of a couple of miles an hour make to a bowler like Siraj.
It does, because generally he bowls that heavy ball, and he's known to have bowled, I mean, that's his strength, so to say.
Here is Taka, still looking for his first wicket. Bowls to Pope outside the off stump, swinging away, taken low down by punt away to his right hand side. And the score stays at 172 for 6. Taka, whose half century kept India afloat really in this match, and then Umesh Yadav with wickets. And Michael was saying earlier that if Ashwin was to come, you think it would have to be for Taka? I mean, yes. Michael was saying Siraj is a possibility. They could have brought him in for Siraj, but actually the 2 players who sort of come in have actually performed well, haven't they?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So where does Ashwin fit in? Unless you bring him in for Jadeja, I suppose. Taka bowls short, pulled away by Pope with ferocity, but goes quickly down to Bumrah and quite close to him as well. So Bumrah's able to get round, pick it up, send in the return, and for a fine pull shot from Pope, he only gets 1. Takes him on to 60.
So going back to what you asked, Andy, the other important fact is with someone like Siraj, he's an attacking bowler. And India scoring 78 in the last test match and 191 here does not really help someone like him who is a little more attacking minded. He can bowl freely, which most bowlers can, but he doesn't have the experience as yet. Under these situations, still bowl freely.
Here's Taka bowling to Moeen. Moeen covers up the full face of the bat, rolls up towards mid-on, and there's no run. That single, by the way, from Pope took the score to 173 for 6. So England are 18 runs away from parity on this second afternoon. Still so much time left in the game. You feel it's going to go one way or the other. It's hard to see a draw from here.
No chance.
Unless something incredible happens. Taka, Shardul Taka turns at that far end, the pavilion behind him. He's rushing in to bowl to Moeen. He's with him now. It's outside the off stump, and that's very well struck by Moeen, but also superbly fielded in the covers.
Pujara.
And away to his left-hand side. Very good piece of fielding. That would have been 4. Moeen hit that so cleanly. I think he'd be a bit frustrated he didn't get 4 for that. Pujara was at full stretch, stopping it with his left hand. Score stays 173 for 6.
Yeah, again a great indicator of how good this pitch is to bat on. That was on the up, off the front foot. Yeah, it's a great shot. But again, get that short leg in.
Taka ball short outside the off stump. Moeen bends the knees, allows it to go past his shoulders there. It's quite high from Taka. You do feel that if India can finish off this England innings for not too many more, they will have an opportunity in that second innings on this pitch that does look to have eased a bit. And they've had problems against England's 4-man pace attack at heading. The ball did enough, and it did enough in the first innings, but you wonder whether there's going to be as much there for the England bowlers in this second innings. It's a great opportunity potentially for India to build a decent score in their second innings, put England under some pressure. Taka goes in, bowls to Moeen. Moeen gets this off the body into the onside for, there's the leg by, off the hip or that sort of area anyway. In that non-existent short leg position, he gets the single. And also takes the bowling as well. It was the last ball of the over, 174 for 6. Pope 60. And Moeen now trying to build a partnership with him. Results.
Yeah, that partnership currently 22. Picking up on something Michael said a little while ago about Johnny Bairstow not being bowled so often, but being at LBW more often. This year, since he came back into the side after a break from the Test arena, he's been out 13 times. 6 times he's been LBW and only once bowled. Over the previous few years, going back to the West Indies series of 2017 when his Test form started to decline significantly, 49 dismissals, 18 of them bowled and only 6 LBW. So that sort of confirms what Michael was saying. He's protecting his stumps, but with his legs.
Which isn't a great policy, is it really, in cricket? So try and find that balance. Right, here's Bumrah beginning a new over from the Vauxhall end. Bowls to Moeen, and Moeen gets a straight ball, which he plays in defence towards mid-on, and there's no run. Still no short leg fielder. Deep is desperate for. There's a change in the field now. Actually, all it is just 2 fielders swapping over. Cover coming to forward square leg, and forward square leg coming to cover. Pujara going out to cover. Bumrah moves into bowl to Moeen. Moeen edges through 4 slip for 4. No one there between second slip and gully. A lot of Indian fielders with their hands on their heads. It was very catchable. It was a waft from Moeen, but he got away with it.
Yeah, that's
really streaky boundary.
So a poor shot there from Moeen Ali. Neither was he on the front foot or back foot. It was from the crease. Yeah, more of a horizontal bat shot. Yeah, got away with that, Moeen.
He won't care. There's 4 in the book and 4 closer to that Indian total. But some encouragement possibly for Bumrah if Moeen is going to play like that. Moeen to 8, 178 for 6. Bumrah bowls to him. Oh, that's a good one. That really flies through and almost takes Pant by surprise. It went past the outside edge of Moeen's back. He might have played inside the line a bit, but it really smacked into Pant's gloves.
And that's the effort ball from Jasprit Bumrah. And that's what he does. A lot of these experienced bowlers, they actually come in and bowl 4 overs, that 80%, and then one or couple of deliveries every over would be that 100%, that effort ball. And it goes through.
Moeen nibbled at it and then withdrew the bat. This is a good contest. Bumrah hunting for his 100th Test wicket. Driven by Moeen silkily into the offside towards backward point. When everything works for Moeen, it looks so good. But also we saw earlier in the over, going for one outside the off stump, flashing and edging it. It would have looked a very tame way to get out if it had gone to hand. It did not. He got away with it.
Yeah, because the other reason could be because he's so good through the off stump, especially off the front foot when he's driving.
Oh, he's a beautiful player to watch when he's in full flow. He does give you a chance. Bumrah moves in and bowls short outside the off stump. Not much venom in that delivery. Rather plopped through to punt that time. Nothing from Moeen, ignored it. It was one of those balls he might have been tempted to go after, but he allowed it to go by. He's come down the pitch to do some guarding. Pope's played well on his home ground. He hasn't had much cricket recently. What cricket he's had has not been very successful for him. Last 2 innings, Norton won in the One-Day Cup. But he likes these surroundings. Moeen looks up to see Bumrah approaching. He's with him now, and Moeen plays very quietly in defence there. Minimum of movement, plays it into the onside, picked up by Bumrah. And that is the end of the over. How many has Bumrah bowled in this spell, Andy?
Just the 2. In fact, he's only bowled 2 since the first. 2 spells of 2 overs so far since the first hour of the day.
So he's got a bit more in him. If India desperate for a wicket, and Kohli's gone back to his main bowler. Bumrah's bowled more than anyone else. 15 overs, 2 for 32. And Yadav 13 overs, 3 for 49 on his return. The backup hasn't quite been there from Tucker and Siraj. Although Siraj has got the wicket of Bairstow since lunch. Getting LBW for 37. Here is Tucker beginning a new over. Bowls to Pope. Pope plays nicely. Straight to mid-on. Nice crispness about that shot. But it's straight at the fielder though. And there is no run.
And the Indian bowlers have leaked runs as well, and that's the thing. Apart from Bumrah, everyone's gone over 3.5 and over. Which again, and this... It's a really nice surface to bat on. It's a great surface to bat on. It's a great day to bat as well with the sun out.
Tucker gets the ball back and prepares to come in again. There's 2 men back on the leg side. Deep back with square leg and fine leg. Tucker goes in, bowls to Pope outside the off stump. Crashed away towards deep backward point. India have a fielder out there, so it's only a single. Kohli putting a few men back, conscious of the score, obviously, and the fact that it's a tight game, England 12 behind.
Yeah, and also making sure that Ollie Pope doesn't get boundaries, stopping the boundaries as well. Again, bowling that outside off-stump line to Ollie Pope, you're all right giving a single, then, yeah, because Moeen Ali's just come out to bat. The new batter, try and attack him.
179 for 6. Tucker bowls to Moeen. Moeen plays into the onside towards forward square leg. And there's no run.
I'm just looking at this field and I'm thinking, yeah, it's all good to say get a short leg in, but which field did you take?
Where do you get it from? Yeah, where can you get it from?
So I'm looking at Mayank Agarwal, who's just come out to field for Jadeja at mid wicket. Maybe just pick the mid wicket and put him there.
Here is Tucker to bowl to Moeen, and he crashes that away for 4. It's a bit of width, and he threw the bat at it. Flashed it down to the deep backward point boundary. Not a great delivery from Tucker. And Moeen there. His thought process was really go for it. So up and over shot, and that's what he did. He goes to 12, and it's 183 for 6.
Yeah, that was a gift. Nicely wrapped with a ribbon on top. Shot wide. Yeah, Moeen Ali.
Deliberately hit it up.
Yeah, he wanted to go aerial.
Yeah. Really flashing hard. Chasen Tucker moves in, bowls to Moeen. Short ball goes after it, down towards fine leg, and it got there very quickly. It's been parried. It's not going to go for 4. And Moeen's going to come back for 2. I lost the flight of the ball. Was that a catch or not?
No, that wasn't a catch. But dropped just in front of Umesh, who did fantastic job to stop the boundary. It was a half volley. He had to dive on his left, came very quick to him and flat. And half volleys are always so difficult to stop.
Really hit hard by Moeen. Yeah, it was a brilliant piece of fielding. Saved 2 for his side. Oh, wonderful. 185 for 6. The cricket is enthralling, it really is. In front of this big crowd on a sunny Saturday at the Oval. Friday, I should say. Here is Tucker moving into bowl to Moen, and Moen squared up by that one, thickish outside edge into the offside, and there is no run. So that is the end of the over. Tuffers is laughing, going my day wrong. Oh, well. And drinks coming onto the field. Well, we can all take a pause for breath, because cricket has been riveting at times today, really cut and thrust. India ahead, then England fighting back, and then India nipping in with a wicket. And England are now 6 runs behind with 4 wickets left. And we were on earlier, Tuffers, and we said what would England hope for in terms of a lead. You said 50. I was thinking they might hope for 80.
Yep.
Certainly, they take 50 now, do you think, in this situation? They take 50 from here?
50's a
even with
decent
Wokes
lead
to come and Robinson to come?
Yeah, perhaps a few more. I mean, as I say, Moeen Ali's going to be the key, isn't he? I mean, Ollie Pope's played wonderfully well. He's looked in sparkling form, straight back into the groove. As you say, he knows this place so well. But if Moeen, we have a little cheeky little hour of Moeen, all of a sudden you can start thinking around the 80. We just don't know, do it? Just feels that, India. Are you off?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Jonathan time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Friday, remember? Friday.
It's Friday.
All day.
Does that come after Thursday?
Yes,
and before
it
Saturday?
does.
Okay.
I know the feeling. I get my days wrong as well. You just get the feeling that Kohli, he keeps having to go back to Bumrah to make a breakthrough. The other guys have bowled pretty well, but you can't keep going to your main guy to try and get that wicket. Some of the other bowlers are going to have to put their hands up as well. Douglas, afternoon.
Yes, enjoying this.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Moeen's playing some wonderful strokes, and Pope expanding his repertoire as well. There's still 1 or 2 that he's kept in the locker. We might see them later on.
I knew it would, at lunchtime, when you sort of thanked me for my summation.
Yes, that's more or less what you expected.
Yes, it is. I knew it was going to be a great afternoon, and it's proving to be so.
Lots to see. Clips on the BBC Sport website, of course, and the highlights tonight. Well, they're on BBC 4 at 7 o'clock. And, of course, you can watch that on the iPlayer as well. So, BBC 4 tonight, 7 o'clock, 4th day at the Test.
Yes.
Featuring Phil Tufnell.
And you?
Yes.
Yes, I heard you a couple of times.
Not sure if much of my last half hour would have gone on again. I think I spent a lot of time on the cutting room floor, I think.
You keep getting them sessions where they're sort of playing themselves in.
Yeah, I had that one yesterday with half an hour with no run.
Wasn't there a run?
Not a single run.
Oh, we're going to struggle to get on then, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I don't think that made it. I didn't bother tuning in last night.
Well, I bowled quite well. I've got a couple of wickets.
Did you? Oh,
yes.
well done.
Yeah.
And also that look back at the 71 England-India Test at lunchtime today. That was great. I really enjoyed that. It's lovely catching up with Prakash again. That's available as a podcast on BBC Sounds. What I will say is that the elephant ended up all over the place. I mean, memories kind of fade and stories are elaborated, aren't they? I mean, Farouk Engineer almost had the winning run being fielded by the elephant in the crowd and threw the ball back. I mean, he was almost there. His elephant was everywhere by the end of this. So, yeah, I mean, you got to forgive a few memories, a bit of elaborating here and there.
Use it as the sight screen at any point during the game?
Well, I think it was. I mean, he was just everywhere. And every batsman was batting. Oh, and I saw this elephant. And another batsman saying, of course, this elephant was going around when I was batting. Sonny Gavaskar had a dog that was out there as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It was all kicking off.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Actually, Sonny's got an interesting story because he says he is terrified of dogs. And if you remember that match where Tino came,
oh yes,
at Southampton,
so was Raul Dravid.
And I got on the lift with Sonny. I mean, Tino's as gentle as they come.
Oh, beauty.
Little black cock. Yeah. Sonny was just almost ripping the walls of the lift out to get out.
Because Tino
was in there.
Tino couldn't fight his way out of a baby bear.
He couldn't. and so he told the story of a dog. There's a dog on the field when Sonny was batting, just right up behind him, he said, and it put him off. And John Snow bowled him next ball. Well, I've heard some excuses. I'll be honest. I mean, Ray Illingworth produced some good excuses when he was batting, but never thought he was going to get bitten by a dog. But that's how Sonny said that he was dismissed by John Snow. So there was also. Prakash had some story about a horse being on there as well, I think. And there's all sorts of animals involved in this particular test match. So I don't know where the horse came from.
No. Wow.
The players have had a drink in the course of all that. 185 for 6. Pope's on 61. Moeen Ali on 14. And so England now to 6 runs behind. A terrific fight back.
led by Pope, who's on strike now. There's 2 slips. The third man, you can see that Kohli here is starting to get a bit defensive.
Yep.
England got 4 wickets left. There's still Wokes to come. And Bumrah's on his way. He's there and he bowls outside the off stump and Pope lets it go through.
I mean, and it's funny how sort of attitudes change, isn't it? When you just get that 1 or 2 runs in front.
Yeah.
Skipper starts thinking, oh crikey, I've got to start doing this, I've got to start doing that. The batsmen start freeing themselves up a bit and perhaps going after a couple. You know, if I can get myself a couple of boundaries, that puts the pressure right back on.
Well, there was plenty of focusing on R. Ashwin in the dressing room just now from the television cameras.
Come on, I mean, what?
Yeah. He needed a bowl a long spell, wasn't he? You've turned him on, you could keep an end all afternoon. It's Bumrah bowling, and that's played off the front foot by Pope into the offside. I mean, then you could rotate your quick bowlers, and you are giving a bit more of a respite.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I might be having to make my way to the skipper's door.
What, Virat?
Yes.
If I was
R. Ashwin.
Oh, I see. Right. Not now.
No, not now. No, but I mean, next game, sort of. Sorry, Skip. I am on this tour.
Yeah.
And I might ask Andy to get my stats out to show him as well. Hello, it's me.
400 and how many?
Yeah.
He goes Bumrah again over the wicket. Bowls. Pope reaches forward again, thinks about the single, but it's not there.
And the oval as well. I mean, there's been a bounce, been a mystery. That's what I was saying about. We can't keep going back to Bumrah to make that breakthrough. Okay, the other guys have bowled well, and Siraj got Johnny Bairstow and everything, but when it just goes a bit flat, someone like an R. Ashwin can have that little bit of mystery and get you that wicket that you need.
It's just the
old
Cameron ball,
or something that just turns a bit. And flight and guile.
Pope's waiting. And Bumrah, stuttery start. There he is now, and he bowls. Has driven hard into his left hand. And fielded at mid-off, 185 for 6.
Last time India played a test here in 2018, 10 of the wickets they took were by spinners. Jadeja took 7 in the match, and Hanuma Vihari, batsman who bowls occasional off-spin, picked up 3. In the 2019 test in the second innings, Nathan Lyon and Jack Leach took 4 wickets each. Moeen Ali had a hat-trick here in 2017.
I know, Andy.
Rashid bowled that.
Yeah.
He got a couple
massive
of wickets.
spinner.
Yeah.
He won the game.
Yeah.
Goes Bumrah bowling outside the off stump to Pope, who fields for a little and steers the ball to point. And there's no run. 185 for 6. Spun a mile.
Yeah.
Was it the last wicket, I think?
Beauty.
No, it was the wicket that broke that partnership on the last day. It was Rahul for 149 when he and Pant had a big stand. They were still about 120 away from chasing that massive total. But
it looked on, didn't it? It was
round the wickets, man, a long way.
Yeah, you always get the feeling that spinners will come into the game in the oval. And you've got a belter set there in his shorts and having a cup of tea.
Yep. Bumrah in the sunshine, a little shorter this time. Pope on the back foot.
I think they've been having a little moan about the ball as well, John, haven't they?
Well, they've been trying to change it again.
Yes. Seems through the cans it's just gone a bit soft.
Well, the batsmen having a chat. Moeen's got a sleeveless sweater on. I think they're pretty pleased with how it's going, really. I mean, it's such an odd game to read, this one. The pitch seems to be fine, the outfield is fast, the ball's not doing anything. Paul Farr brace on our screen, I see. Ollie Robertson's stepfather, of course.
With a load of lemons behind him by the looks of it.
Yes, he has.
Just one further spin contribution at the Oval. The year before that, 2016, Yasir Shah took a second innings fifer for Pakistan. So spinners have been effective, particularly in second innings in recent tests at the Oval.
Always.
Well, Manchester could turn too, I'd have thought. Last match up there at Old Trafford. Here's Thakur, and there's a graceful drive from Moeen. But it's fielded there in the offside, but beautiful shot again, effortless drive.
Hardly heard that though, didn't you? I mean, that was a real middle of the bat off drive, and it just sort of didn't zip off the bat.
It's gone soft.
Yeah, I think it has.
Where are we for overs? There's so many figures up there, I can't see the overs.
That's 58.
58.
Some of the lights don't work either, which is really throwing me at the moment. Yeah, Ali's got 4 and Pope's got, 1.
Yeah, it's a very strange mathematical symbol.
Sorry, 59th, please.
59, thanks, Andy.
It's a bit tricky. I don't know whether they need some new bulbs or just cleaning or...
Yeah, no, it's a bit faded, isn't it? I remember that being unveiled as brand new. Thakur goes round the wicket.
I mean,
He stretches forward.
You would have thought they would have checked.
Well, they've had all 100 games here.
Oh, there you go. I mean,
A bit of maintenance.
there you go. I might nip round there, go down the old bulb shop. Even the middle of the total is a bit blurred.
Talk of electricians, my stepdaughter's boyfriend answered a request for a quote the other day, went round to her house, opened the door, Catherine Brunt.
Oh, really?
Don't know if he got the job or not. He's mowing, and he stretches forward and plays down to mid-off. So if you're listening, Catherine, give him the job. He's a good lad.
Is he any good?
Yeah.
Oh, he's very good at electrics.
Yeah. He was a bit surprised. Liked his cricket.
Yeah.
There she was.
Yeah.
185 for 6.
Well, the chaps I went out with last night were electricians.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of them about, obviously.
From round the wicket, bowls a quick medium pace really, and Moeen slashes at this. So again, just can't penetrate the field at the moment, and that's fielded at backward point.
Well, sometimes a soft ball can not help the batting side either, can it? Because, you know, a couple of those would have perhaps just skipped past the field.
Yeah, you're right.
Wasn't impressed with Jarvo's action, were you?
No, I just got a bit tiresome now.
Yeah, it has.
185 for 6. There's Thacker again, bowls. It's turned away down to mid-on. The rumour is that he gets so much from his YouTube channel for filming it that he pays the fines.
Well, there you go.
So they're going to look at that.
Bit naughty.
Indian supporters sitting quietly, draped in flags. Always a colourful bunch. The Bharat Army down there. So it has gone a bit quiet. There'll soon spark up if a wicket falls, but I haven't heard the saxophone for a while. 185 for 6. Sun shining. Thakur bowls, and again, well, you're right. I mean, that really did sound like a bit of a splat, really.
Orange. The old Satsuma.
It was a forward defensive shot, and it just sounded like a wet sponge. So the bowler fielded that. So that perhaps explains why the runs are a little harder to come by at the moment. The ball simply isn't going off the bat. But it's a lovely setting. And the flags blowing gently away from their poles up there, flopping away. Good crowd, full house.
Warm.
Yeah.
Good buzz. Was out wandering around the back. Everyone's right into this.
I saw Mickey Stewart there on the screen. That's really nice to see him too. He's stalwart of these parts.
Yeah, my first coach.
Yes, I bet he tore some hair out with that, didn't he?
He got on very
Mickey.
well, me and Mickey. We did. He always used to sit next to me on the aeroplane.
In goes Bumrah, and that's steered away down to third man for a single.
Very calming.
By Pope to go to 186 for 6. He had this habit. We used to go watch the fielding practices, didn't we? And Mickey would just slog the catches up in the air. It is Mickey. It's lovely to see him turn Sheila. Everyone ended in a Y. So with Daffy, boom. Louis, boom. Stewie, boom. So what were you?
Tuffers.
Oh, you were Tuffy.
Oh, Tuffy, perhaps.
Tuffy. Boom. Off it went. They're all with an I on the end.
Yeah.
Or Y on the end.
Yeah. Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Russell was just Jack.
Yeah. We didn't spend too much time out there having eye catches, as it
No.
probably you saw.
Bumrah outside the off stump. No stroke from Moeen.
Yeah, those were the days where we just used to sort of right, catch 20, boys.
Yes. At the end of the session.
Yeah, hot,
Yeah.
bit sticky.
Catch a field, in you go.
Yeah. Especially in the Caribbean.
You watch the fielding now. It's just so much. A major part of the warm up, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
The practice, the training.
I mean, it's full on.
Yeah. Ball flies all over the place.
Full on. I mean, no wonder they're such, flicking balls back off boundaries and catching them. And
We'd never have thought of practicing that, would we? I mean, we really wouldn't.
No.
Goes Bumrah and bowls. Moeen stands up and defends. I mean, the whole notion of standing at fine leg, which we did for years, that you might be able to just run over, knock it up like that, run back and then run back in and catch it. It never even crossed our minds.
No, just watched it go sailing over us.
Six. It's incredible. And yet it's so obvious, isn't it? But then I suppose you do engage coaches and more coaches, and the coaches expand their thoughts and so on, and one day cricket inevitably, and suddenly this whole new range of fielding exercises and practice. They practice those catches so often now.
Yeah, and it's a bit like fielding in pairs as well.
Yeah, Bumrah bowls, Moeen tucks him away down to mid-on.
That first started really, I think, on my 1990 trip.
Oh, okay.
And it sort of started at Melbourne because, you know.
Was that before or after your run-out?
Well, I can't remember. But, you know, it sort of, one would be extra cover driven and I'd be at mid-off and it wouldn't quite get to the boundary rope, and then you'd sort of hair after it like that, pick it up, turn around and go, oh, crikey, that's a real long way to go. It's a par 3. Yeah. Par 3 for my arm.
Very big.
Yeah. So you had to work in pairs then.
Bumrah bowls out well. He tried to York Moeen there. He just jammed his bat down in time. Oh, so the relay throw, you mean?
Yeah, the relay throw, because otherwise, you know, they always sort of say, 1 for the throw. It could have been 2 or 3 for the throw.
Question, though, for you.
Yeah.
Which is the bigger playing area?
Right.
The MCG, the mighty G.
Right.
Or Grace Road, Leicester.
Well, I know. Grace Road, Leicester. Well, it's got to be Grace Road.
It is. It's Grace Road.
Doesn't feel
Grace
like
Road
it.
is bigger than the MCG.
It doesn't.
I promise you. I promise you. And goes Bumrah and bowls elegant stroke from Moeen off the front foot where it's fielded at cover.
Well,
we don't quite pack him in at Grace Road, do at the G, if I'm honest.
No.
But the playing area,
yes.
Grace Road, is bigger than the MCG.
Well, it didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it.
You don't play on the whole lot at Grace Road either.
What's that called then? I mean, the Melbourne's called the G. What the Grace Road?
Well, there are a few names for it, but I don't think they're repeatable.
I think it's called the G, isn't it?
The what?
G.
Yeah. Slightly different emphasis on G.
I'll tell you what it had, actually, more than the MCG had. Nice rose beds at Grace Road.
They always did.
Beautifully manicured
just
rose
under the
bushes.
pavilion, weren't they?
Don't get them at the MCG.
No, you didn't. But you did get some very strange orangeade and orange pop at lunchtime, warm.
There were areas, obviously. There's one in Sri Lanka. Which is the ground at Sri Lanka that has the koi pond outside that you walk over on the way in? That's rather nice.
Yes.
That's a bit special.
That's right.
It's in Colombo, I think.
Yes, it is.
SSC, is it? Yeah, you walk in over a little bridge.
Swimming pool at the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you've got big koi carp.
Yeah, we always used to sit in that before we went out the bat, you know, just to cool off.
Red hot.
It was red hot.
Yeah, it was. 186 for 6. There's another bowling change. And Yadav's going to have another go. I think he's a bit stiff. He hasn't played for a while.
Yes, he's looked good.
He has looked good. He's bowled really well.
Better length, hasn't he? He's bowled fuller.
He's bowling to Pope. It's 2 slips. And he bowls and Pope's forward, turning into the leg side, scurrying a quick single. They make that. That's good cricket. Taking on the mid-on fieldsman there.
I can remember seeing Robin Smith for 124, I think, at Colombo, and he was in terrible. Every session he'd come off, and he was like, you know, strip him off, sling him in the ball, you know, salt tablets and tonic water for the cramps.
Oh yes.
And I think one time he just sort of couldn't move his fingers. He came off, he had to sort of cut his gloves off, where his fingers had just gone like rock hard, you know, because he used to grab it so hard.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Lovely place to watch cricket.
Yeah.
So, Sri Lanka.
But as you say, find a bit of shade.
Yeah. Yadav's coming round the wicket to Moeen. It's down the leg side, and there's some arms raised there in the slips, and Kohli's still saying, you sure he didn't edge that? And Yadav's already on his way back to his mark. So it's always a bit theatrical, Kohli, isn't he? He just gets into everything. He just wants the team to be completely focused on every ball.
Well, it's just taken a back seat, hasn't it, this game?
Yep.
It's just chilled out. And it's going to be who gets the next wicket or who gets the next couple of boundaries is just going to take the ascendancy.
Just 1 run in the last 3 overs.
Yeah.
2 in the last 3.2.
Yeah. Just chilling out a bit here.
England are 4 behind. Moeen waits back raised. Yadav round the wicket to him. He's forward again. He's playing some beautiful shots, but the ball is just not coming off the bat at all.
As you say, splat is a very good
Yeah,
point.
and he can't beat the field.
No, it's
So
like
the new ball will be welcome for everyone. It's still 20 overs away.
yeah, it's like hitting a blancmange. Not that I've ever done that. It sounds like fun,
I've
actually.
seen a few joke balls bowled, haven't you? In county cricket, someone come tearing in and bowl, I mean, like a cricket ball bar of soap, I remember
Yes,
once. It
yes.
exploded on someone's bat.
That's right.
That was deemed funny at the time. 187 for 6 is probably someone from Essex. They did that sort of thing, and this is clipped into the leg side this time. They were a funny bunch, weren't they?
Yes.
Pont and Ray East and all that lot.
all that lot.
Stewie Turner.
Fletch.
Yeah.
Good side.
Fletch was he the coach after Mickey, wasn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Another one I took down.
You did take it. I think Trinidad took Fletch down, didn't it? As he had her bowling, and there's a beautiful shot from Moeen. He's got that away all right. Oh, that's a handsome shot. That really is. Off the back foot, just stood up, didn't bother moving his feet, and just hit the bat straight through the line. It's a wonderful stroke through extra cover.
Yeah, he might be enjoying this little sort of softer ball, Moeen.
Shot of the day, that.
On the rise. I mean,
Yeah.
that was really on the rise. It was
Beautiful.
almost the back of a length ball, and he's hit that sort of about top of the pad on the front foot and just punched it through extra cover.
Moeen at his best. That
Yeah.
was a wonderful shot.
Yeah.
But it confirms again, I mean, it's not a bad pitch. This.
Absolutely. Someone's
Stand up and play that.
Someone's going to get some here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the England side or or the Indian side.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get some.
Yadav again from round the wicket, and Moeen waits for him, and that's just nudged away with the angle coming into him out to mid-on. And there is no run, so it's the end of the over. 40 minutes until the tea break. Toughers, some thoughts from you, and then you're going to be joined by Dan.
Yeah, we were just saying that the game's taking a bit of a lull. But Moeen Ali could be the man to wrestle it out of that. That was a wonderful extra cover drive with the ball flat, the ball soft, and the wicket flattening out. He might just fancy his chances. Ollie Pope's bowled beautifully, batted beautifully. But Moeen could be the key. We shall see as Jadeja. He's having a go again. A bit of spin. Good player of spin though, Ollie Pope's played it nicely. Looks to get up and down the wicket. Good on his feet, which you need to be a good player of spin. Dan.
Hello.
Afternoon, are you on?
Hello. Yes, I am on. Yes. Yes, I'm now on. Yes. I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here. Jadeja starts this new over to Pope. Pope pushes into the offside, feels it short extra cover. There's no run. Andy, am I right in saying that if Pope gets to, is it 81 or 82? Maybe it's 81? As Jadeja is in now. And he goes back into the crease and pushes to backward point.
That was a bit of bounce and a spin. Sorry, I always get
run.
excited when I see something like that happen.
You did, didn't you?
Yes.
Right,
Well, I'm always
right,
keeping my
yeah.
eyes peeled for it, you see. It's just
Oh, yeah.
it's just habit.
In comes Jadeja again, driven into space in the offside, past short extra cover for a single, and England move into the lead. That's the cheer you can hear.
Yeah.
192 for 6 of that single. Pope to 64 on his
Your
home
boy.
ground.
Your boy.
Hi, boy. Yes. Well, I told you he was good, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You kept saying it, and I believe you now. He's played lovely.
He really has. He really has. But I think I'm right in saying
Yes.
that if he gets about another 16 or 17 runs, he will have the highest average of anybody who's played more than 18 innings on any ground in the world in the history of all cricket ever.
Oh.
Including in that the great Don.
Well, there you
Forward comes Moeen Ali. He's back up the wicket. There's no run. Vinu Mankad currently holds the record with an average of 106.
Wrong Mankad.
Wrong Mankad?
Yes, it's his son, Ashok.
Oh, Ashok Mankad.
Get your
there you go.
Mancads right, will you?
Indeed.
You've obviously been sitting there doing some serious
Why that's right.
serious
Say wrong.
research.
Well, actually, I was sent it, but I got very excited
well, very
by
good.
it because Pope averages over 100 here at the Oval. As Jadeja is in, forward comes Moeen Ali, played back up the wicket. There's no run. He currently averages about 105, doesn't he? I think. And the record is 106. End of the over. 192 for 6. Moeen has 18. Pope has 64. Is that roughly right?
Yes, Ashok Mankad averaged 106.3 at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. VJ Merchant 105.4 at the Brabourne Stadium, just down the road, also in Mumbai. Pope currently 105.2.
So he's close, isn't he?
Very close.
Amazingly, Devon Conway is in this list. He's at number 5.
Yeah.
The average is 103
At
the Basin Reserve.
Yep.
I mean, having seen him earlier in the season, I'm not massively surprised that he averages a lot somewhere.
Especially there as well. Tricky place to defend the Basin.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Wellington, isn't it? Something I've got me
You
reserves.
think of Auckland, do you?
Yes, I.
That's very difficult to defend.
It is.
Yes. Tougher than Tobruk, they say. 192 for 6. Shardul. No, it's going to be Umesh Yadav who runs in from the pavilion end to Pope, who works a full straight ball up to mid-on. And there's no run. This partnership now has added 41. And they came together. England were just rocking a little bit again. That Bairstow-Pope partnership was broken, but Moeen, he's looked
calm.
Calm, hasn't he?
Yes, it's just a little bit of batting's broken out here at the Oval, isn't it? A little bit of sort of nice building of a partnership.
I know.
Haven't seen much of it, really.
Well, you missed Headingley, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, there was a bit in England's first innings. Yes.
yes.
Umesh is in forward, comes Pope, pushed out to the covers. There's no run, but that was about
I
the
didn't
only.
believe it. I didn't believe it when I saw it in the papers. I thought it must be a misprint.
Yes, 460. No, it must be 160. Surely.
Surely our openers have put on 100.
Yeah.
But, well, this partnership could have been broken. It's something we didn't pick up on live. The TV replay showed Bumrah bowled a Yorker to Moeen, but he dug out and it hit him on the toe first, and had they appealed and then referred it, would have been out.
Or had they appealed and it been given?
Yes.
Did they appeal at all?
I didn't notice that.
Umesh is in, and Pope just tucks this into the onside, right-hand side of mid-on. There's loads of space on the onside because 2 fielders are out on the boundary and there's only a straightish mid-on. He's able to get through for a single, goes to 65, 193 for 6.
Doesn't that make you mad?
I imagine as a bowler it must be infuriating.
That's what happened to me at Port Elizabeth.
Really?
Against the Zulu, which was, what was his name? Left-hander. Smashed
Klusner.
it. Klusner, that's it.
Yeah,
Lance
you've
Klusner.
not let it go, have you?
No, I haven't. Because we had him by the scruff of the neck. And before he went on his absolute, scored 100 in about, 30 balls.
Round a wicket for left-hander is Umesh Yadav. Worked into the onside. They won't get a run for it. It's mid-on collect.
I had him he went to play a late cut and it just ran straight off the face of the bat, straight into Stewie's gloves, and no one appealed. And then we came in at tea time after he'd absolutely walloped us everywhere, and Duncan Fletcher had gone, "Geez, what are you doing? Why haven't you appealed when he was on 10? You had him out." Would have been my fifer as well.
Oh,
that's why. Yeah. So it's things like that do stay with you.
They're bound to. Umesh in, forward comes Moeen and push drives elegantly, beautifully, with an economy of movement that takes the ball with perfect timing.
Gorgeous.
All the way up to the boundary, right in front of the sight screen, the pavilion, to the right of the sight screen as we look. It's a lovely shot. There was no flourish or huge follow through, just a perfectly timed push for 4.
Pleasing on the eye. The old on drive. Just waited for it. As you say, no flourish, didn't try to overhit it or even follow through. Just beautiful position, balance, middle of the bat. Gorgeous.
He's a heck of a player to have coming in at 8 in this situation as the pitch is easing and the ball's getting a bit soft, isn't he?
I think this is England's best side. Personnel-wise,
They got there eventually.
Yeah.
Umesh bowls and taking evasive action is Moeen, so I think he'll pick up 4 leg byes for this. He will. It was a short ball and he just let it hit him. And it's rolled off sort of maybe shoulder and then gone fine down to the boundary for 4 more. So a little flurry of runs. It brings up England's 200. They're 201 for 6. The lead now 10. Moeen Ali has 22. Ollie Pope has 65. Yes, Moeen, he's hit 500s.
Yeah,
It's not that normal that your number 8 has 500s.
That also brought up a 50 partnership in 16.1 overs.
Well, he has batted virtually everywhere, hasn't he?
Yes.
You can't sort of say, he's a number 8.
Yeah, well, he's not a number 8, really. I mean, he's a number 7 here, isn't he? He's just number 8 because Overton
Well,
went
you don't
in.
really know what number he is. I don't think, perhaps Moeen knows what number he is.
I don't really know what.
No,
number.
yeah.
See, at least in The Prisoner, you were assigned a number and it was simple, wasn't it? Who is number 1? You are number 6. Yeah.
He can bat most places.
Jadeja starts a new over and is driven beautifully by Pope and pick up at least, well, actually I was going to say at least 2. They're going to come back for a second. It went to the right of Siraj out there on the cover boundary. He had to make a fair bit of ground to his right, but another lovely, elegant shot from Pope takes him to 67, 203 for 6.
You just get the feeling something's afoot here just before tea.
Do you think the game's afoot, do you?
Yes, I think
I'm always a bit concerned when you think the game's afoot. You start to look a little bit like the Artful Dodger and things happen. In comes Jadeja, forward comes Pope, pushes into the offside. There's no run. You develop a slightly Dreyfusian twitch from the Pink Panther films.
Yes, I'll get you.
There's a play afoot.
Yes, I just think they're looking to just make the use of this flat ball,
soft ball, yeah. Well, Jadeja has come out of short leg to pack the offside field. Now there's 4 saving 1 on the offside, and that's sweeper. And Pope just comes forward in solid defence and pushes it straight to the now hatted Pujara, whose helmet is now behind punt.
Yeah, the short catch has gone as well. Only the slip in.
Only the slip. Jadeja in. Pope comes forward, reaching slightly for it, and then Pujara scrambling somewhat arthritically to his left does eventually stop the ball. He's wearing, well, when he wears his shin guards, it does hamper his mobility, which isn't, let's say, always at its most lithe and graceful.
Looks like the Tin Man.
There's a touch of that. Pope goes back into his crease and works it backward a square on the onside, but straight to the fielder there. And there is no run. 203 for 6, England. As Jadeja comes in round the wicket to complete the over, and Pope drives elegantly and beats the diving Pujara. Won't beat Siraj out on the boundary, so they'll just get the 1 run. End of the over. England 204 for 6. Moeen Ali has 22. Ollie Pope is continuing at the moment on his serene way. He has 68. England's lead is 13. Andy Zaltzman.
Well, just on India's struggle to maintain pressure, we saw all of England's 4 bowlers excellent yesterday, but for India, certainly of late, only Bumrah's really been able to exert pressure, and England played out his last spell 4 overs for 6. 4 of those 6 runs were an edge aerially through the slits. Umesh Yadav, after a fine start, had 3 for 24 after his first 10 overs, but in his 5 overs since then he's conceded 35. Thakur and Siraj both gone at well over 3 and over, and Jadeja 10 wicketless overs without really posing a great deal of threat now. 86 overs in the series and just 2 wickets.
Emily Raidford Brett
Hello.
has joined us.
Where is Ashwin?
Where is Ashwin?
Where is Ashwin?
Where's our Ashwin?
Where?
As they
Well,
say
we know
up-
where he
say up
is.
north. Yes,
Okay, so,
but he's in the changing room.
yeah, I don't think he would have worked magic on this wicket, but I just think he would have.
Give it another
The
option.
best
yeah?
bowlers can just get enough, even if there's not much on the surface.
Start of a new over from Umesh Yadav, and Pope punches off the back foot nicely, square of the wicket down to deep backward point. They'll only get the 1 for it. So throw comes in from Shardul Thakur. 205 for 6. Pope to 69.
Yeah, look, this is not bowling friendly conditions, but Bumrah maybe just gets that odd ball to do something, applies pressure through line. And I was looking at how even Jadeja was bowling, it's just all around 60 miles an hour, flat. No variety of pace or just trying to change the, any sort of dance that then kind of lures you into a bad shot.
Any sort of like change of angle,
Yeah, not
perhaps,
a
or
huge
maybe
amount.
bowling a little bit further behind the crease.
That's the
something.
sort of the tricks that Ashwin would
Yes.
bring, that even on a flat surface, I think it might just induce the odd mistake.
Well, there was a very odd comment made, wasn't there, about England only having 4 left-handers. How many do you want? Umesh in. That's pulled by Moeen gloriously for 4 through, well, deep mid-wicket, but well in front of square. The ball just sat up from Umesh, and Moeen murderously latched onto it and hit it almost to the scoreboard away to our right, if you're familiar with the oval, next to the pylon here, the floodlight pylon. Lovely shot from Moeen.
That line was nice, wasn't it? It was one that he could just swivel on. It was coming into him, but also angling a little bit towards the leg. He could just help it around with a bit of a swivel.
Well, when he's in this kind of mood, when he starts to get this sort of languidness into his game, it causes people such sorrow when he gets out. Umesh is in. That's a bouncer that's better directed at the head. There's a bit of fury in that bouncer after being walloped for 4.
Are you suggesting that elegant players should get 2 goes?
In a way,
I think I'll be on board with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, David Gower used to cause me just untold misery as a child. Terrible. I mean, the number of times he was out for sort of 61 or 48 just before lunch on day one. And you were purring at everything he was doing. And then he was out and you sort of couldn't really watch the game for the next couple of hours. Just had to go, lick your wounds. Umesh Yadav in, and that's tucked away by Moeen. I think there's a little bit of bat off that, and it's gone backward square on the onside. There's no signal from the umpire, so it must have got glove perhaps or a bit of bat.
Dan, I want
to
know what your win predictor's saying. I've been flip-flopping. I know you always like
my
it.
mental win
Yeah,
predictor.
so what's your mental, and then what do you think actual win viz is saying? Where are you?
My current win predictor is 68% to England.
With a nice lead.
And I think the draw is going to be tough, so I'm probably going 68-29-3. 3 for the draw, 29
Okay, yeah.
India. Do you get my drift?
Yeah.
Umesh Yadav in to Pope, who tucks this off nicely into the onside for a single. So we're a wicket to fall. And England could easily be bundled out for 240, then that lead would only be 50 odd, which would be not a lot on a pitch that's easing. 211 for 6 now, Pope to 70.
I suppose I was going to say, this is what makes, I think, a good test match for me is when you're flip-flopping about the result.
Yes, I flip-flopped from the beginning of the day all the way through.
I thought all England yesterday, then when Joe Root went, maybe this is India, now back England. But then, like you say, 1 wicket and you start to think.
Yeah. You see, that's one of the things that really Australians don't get, isn't it? If you insist on calling flip-flops thongs, do you ever get to use the phrase flip-flop? I don't know. If you're Australian, let us know. Umesh Yadav is in, and forward comes Moeen, pushed to the offside. There's no run.
I have a funny story about that, but I don't know if it should be radio friendly.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure.
Right, high alert, everyone. Everyone on the mute button.
Well,
211 for 6, Moeen 27, Pope 70, end of the over. Ebony.
I'm going to do it, but let's just hope I don't get sacked. It's not too bad, but when I was in Oz, I remember going out to a bar and they were like, you can't wear thongs in here.
I remember this, yes,
and
I was
like,
with you.
How do you know? And obviously you go back and forth for a long time only to realise, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too crazy, is it?
No, that's not too crazy.
I wasn't sure,
No, it's a simple misunderstanding around the word thong and flip-flop.
Yeah.
I mean, why they'd call flip-flops thongs, I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Jadeja starts a new over to the right-handed Pope, who comes forward in watchful defence and pushes to Pujara.
As
there's no wrong.
Walks back in.
Oh, was he not here the whole time?
No, that's what I was looking. I don't know.
Oh, right.
Hopefully it was not a sackable story.
You've definitely got away with it.
You checked.
Yeah. Jadeja in, and that's pushed back up the wicket. There's no run. Oh, guess what? Guess what WinViz has got?
What have we got? Where are we?
Well, I was nearly right. England 68%.
Yeah.
India 26%. The draw 6%. So close.
Yeah.
Jadeja in again, shorter, and that's cut away by Pope, but it'll go out to Siraj on the cover boundary, and they'll collect 1 more. Pope moves to 71. That record's getting closer, Andy. What exactly does he need? Is it 81? Can you work it out for us? I mean, look, you're the record man. You must want to. When there's a record staring you in the face, you seem to begrudge it.
It won't be a record until he gets out, unless he gets another 106 runs before he's out.
Well, but he'll have that at some point. I mean, look, if 4 wickets fell at the other end, he remains not out.
True.
Yeah. Jadeja into Moeen. Moeen just works this as if he's just having a net. It's a full ball on and around off stump, and he's just, with a little bottom hand, has just flicked it up to mid-on. That's when you're sort of in, when you play that shot. He moves to 28, England 213 for 6, the lead 22. Jadeja into Pope. Pope drives, finds the space again. There's a gap, square of the wicket on the offside between backward point and short extra. And he collects 1 more run, as easy as you like. It's very low-risk cricket from England at the moment. Pope to 72.
He said he looks like he's having a net. Genuinely, the ball's coming on nice. There's no deviation. And he's looking very clinical with his footwork. I'm enjoying watching him about his business.
Short mid-on is in, so Pope has to adjust where he stands at on-striker's end as Moeen drives to the right of Shardul Thakur, who rather waddles somewhat to his right to collect the ball and flings in the throw. That's the end of the over. England 215 for 6. Moeen has 29. Pope has 72. More from Ebony. The next 20 minutes, though, will be looked after by Simon Mann.
Well, 24 runs ahead, and
just massively in the driving seat. Today and tomorrow are going to be fabulous for batting, and the way these two are going, it really could set the game up nicely. Andy, you look like you're poised.
Well, since Pope's reached his 50 from 92 balls with his 6-4, he's not hit another boundary. He scored 21 of 41 balls with 15 singles and 3 twos. It's been rather routine accumulation. A great deal of certainty about his batting.
Right, 20 minutes to go until tea then, and they're going to change the ball.
Is it all right?
It's all right, Ebony. Everything's all right when you're
Everything's all right. Yeah, nothing too edgy.
215 for 6 is the score. The lead is 24, and Moeen and Pope have got together and produced a really important stand here for England. India are not starting to fret just yet, but 24 lead, still 4 wickets left.
I think for them 100 is most probably as much as they would want a lead to be. Because there is still plenty of batting, I don't think this wicket at any stage is going to break up. 100 is about the most you really want to be in deficit, and then you'd need your batters to come good. So they've still got some work to do to really not only break this partnership but then get through Wokes and the rest. So yeah, England, I agree with that. WinViz 68-69% sounds about right with England's positioning.
Have they found a ball they're happy with? I think so. Siraj is going to bowl with it. 10 overs, 1 for 36 on what felt like a really pivotal day in this series. Win today and you've got an excellent chance of winning the series. 215 for 6. Moeen Ali, who's not made a half century for England since January 2019 in Antigua, has played several silky strokes in this innings. Not all of them have gone for 4. A few have. 1 or 2 have gone to fielders. Now, I think they're happy with the ball. I'm not sure they are. I think the ball has been changed, but Kohli's not happy. He's taking it over to umpire Wharf.
One thing they don't want is a ball that's a bit softer and a bit easier to just get on with it. It's they're looking for something.
Now Kohli's actually taken the ball off the umpire and just thrown it rather petulantly along the ground to Siraj. And normally you look after a ball, don't you? You don't throw it along the ground.
I think he thinks he's been handed a dud.
Yeah, well, they've got 14 overs until a new one is available. Well, they have to get on with it, and Siraj is back at the top of his mark, ready to bowl with it. He'll be perverse here if he gets a wicket with it.
It would be quite funny.
Yeah. Moeen on 29, Pope on 72. Wonderful return for him after his problems this summer. And here is Siraj then, finally, to get on with the game. And first up is driven beautifully by Moeen for 4 on the up through the offside. It just emphasises the nature of the pitch, perhaps the nature of the ball as well. It's gone for 4 to deep cover. It really was not a full half volley or anything approaching a half volley there. It was hit on the up by Moeen. Takes him to 33 and England to 219 for 5. The ball has been retrieved and inspected again by the retriever.
Well, getting hit like that and racing to the boundary is not going to help the ball come back in a better condition. Set up perfectly, really. There's 0 in terms of the conditions going in India's favour at the moment. They're going to have to find a way to apply pressure through line and length.
Siraj bowls to Moeen, he drives again. There's a gap on the offside between second slip and cover, and he's found it. Only easing this one away. And this time they come back for 2 runs. Just looks a bit easy there with that gap on the offside. There's no one in that backward point gully region. Perhaps they want Moeen to play that stroke actually, and that's the only conclusion you can draw, and waft at one and nick it to keeper or slips, or even hit it in the air to cover.
Yeah, the leg side feels pretty strong. The fielders are 2 back on the deep. wicket mid on. I just feel with the line he's bowled, it's allowed, like you say, that freedom just to play that shot. It doesn't feel like the ball is going to carry. Well, he's changing his line. In the sense, he's going to have to tuck him up into the body, coming around the wicket.
Round the wicket from the pavilion end to bowl to Moeen. Oh, Moeen is beaten by one that angles in and leaves him. Good delivery. Moeen appreciates that. Yeah, well bowled. That's his body language there. Taken low down by Pant. Moeen missed it by quite a long way. I'm not even sure it carried. He might have taken it on the half volley, even if he'd nicked it. A really fine delivery. Every now and again there's one like that, and that's something that'll keep the bowlers encouraged, although it does look like good batting conditions now, finally, in this test match. Here is Siraj going into bowl to Moeen, who comes forward and hits that sweetly, but straight to cover. And there is no run. 79 miles an hour from Siraj. 221 for 6. These two came together at 151. Not timed, but when the score was 151. So they have added 70 runs. So from 62 for 5, England really have mounted a sustained recovery here to put themselves in a reasonable position in this game now. They're 30 runs ahead, but you feel there will be runs on offer for India in their second innings on this pitch. And they're good enough to take advantage. Moeen plays defensively to Siraj's latest delivery. Ball rolls up towards mid-off, and there is no run.
This feels like a better line, I think, to Ali. You think of someone like Pope, it doesn't really, he likes to come straight back past you, whereas Ali likes a little bit of width and likes to play fractionally up on the up through the covers, through mid-wicket with that sort of flourish. And so actually by angling the ball into his body, it forces him to have to do something, to almost move his hands to create that width.
Siraj bowls to Moeen. Struck on the thigh pad, ball goes into the onside, picked up at mid-wicket, and there's no run. It's the end of the over. We've got just under 15 minutes to go to tea on what has been a riveting second day. You had a ticket today. I think you've good value for money so far. Wickets, runs, intrigue, tight game.
There's a lot. Sorry, Andy.
I think that Moeen Ali back foot drive for 4 is probably... But as one shot goes, if that was to be a one-ball day of cricket, I think you'd go home quite happy, wouldn't you?
So if you paid £165 for that, you'd be happy, would you? It was a glorious shot, mind you.
He held the pose a little as well after it, which always just gives you that extra second or two to enjoy.
Almost as valuable as that Chris Woakes wicket. Here is Jadeja bowling, and Pope goes inside out and plays it towards deep cover. Takes a single, takes him to 73, and it's 2-2-2 for 6. The lead is 31. Chris Woakes, of course, has been paid a lot of money. A central contract this year, and he's just hardly played at all. In fact, he hasn't played a test match since last August.
Yeah, that's the final test of last summer at the end of August against Pakistan. He also made a one-day international comeback earlier in the summer against Sri Lanka in Durham and took 4 wickets in that innings as well. So they should just leave him out more often.
Yeah, he was good that day. He was man of the match. Here is Jadeja bowling, and Moeen has a huge wipe at that. He might be caught. He's going to be caught in the covers, and he is. Oh, what was that about? What was that from Moeen Ali? Looking to go over the top, and he skied one, and he's on his way for 35. And that's a really frustrating stroke if you're in the England dressing room. He's playing so well, and it feels as if he's given it away just as England were moving towards a position of strength, looking to hit it over the top, a miscue, and it dropped into the hands of Rohit Sharma at cover, who does not drop those, and Moeen has to go just before tea. Another twist in this day, 222 for 7.
Where did that come from? It's one of those interesting ones as a batter. Maybe that something just crept into his head, I want to dominate, whatever it is, but you think about the situation of the game, they're 1 wicket away from Woakes, who hasn't played for a little while in this format, so he may come out and play well, but equally you leave that vulnerability, and that could close the game. So as an experienced batter, it's still important that you assess the situation and where you are, and they're not far enough ahead at the moment to play that sort of shot. It was an odd wild shot, really. And now India can think, well, you never know.
It was India were you just sense their body language. Just
the ball, Virat Kohli.
Beginning to get down, and then a wicket, well, tossed away, really.
Moeen finished with 35 from 71 with 7 mostly sumptuous fours. He had 14 from his first 50 balls and 21 from the last 21, including the ball he was dismissed from. The partnership 71 in 20.3 overs. The last 2 wickets between them have added 160 in 43 overs since England was 62 for 5 when Bairstow joined Pope.
Well, a very adequate replacement coming out, Chris Woakes, but how much time has he spent in the middle? He might just dig out his recent batting efforts. Have been that many. You mentioned that one day internationally played. He's been on tours, of course, but not played. He's had injury problems. Here is Jadeja, goes in and bowls to Pope, who stretches right forward and plays that towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. England are 7 down because a man has come out now, does have a Test 100, and Robinson at 10 is capable of providing some support, so it's not all done yet for England in terms of a sizable first innings lead. Jadeja to Pope. Pope's forward, playing to short extra cover, and there's no run. He got a short point and a short extra cover for Ollie Pope, and a slip as well. There's no man back on the deep cover boundary. Jadeja to Pope. Pope drives, and there's a misfield at a deepish cover, so like the second ring, the outer ring on the edge of the circle, if you like, in one-day terms, and they go through for a single. It's Siraj tumbling away to his left. Very well struck by Pope. Limited to 1. India were hoping it was a dot ball, but not quite. Pope to 74, 223 for 7.
This will be the first ball Chris Woakes has faced in international cricket since he made a 39 ball 53 not out against Australia in a one-day international in September last year.
But in terms of just any cricket, he played that second 11 game, didn't he? Did he batter the match? And he played in the T20 game. Here is Woakes stretching forward. He's negotiated his first ball anyway. He goes up towards mid-off, and there is no run. 223 for 7. I did do an interview with him last night, and I said, how was the body going into? Were you confident? He said, well, I was a bit nervous. I don't quite know how the body's going to stand up to a day of Test cricket. So they'll probably be a bit stiff in the morning, i.e. this morning.
He did bat against Kent in a T20 game on the 27th of August, so a week or so ago.
How much did he make?
14.
So yeah, time at the middle. You can never substitute batting in the middle. All the nets you do, watching out the hands. I think it's a mixture of the pressure, the scenario.
Well, he's got 12 overs out there before the new ball is available. So in a way, an old ball and a bit of time with it as well. And the lead is 32. England's first target now would be 50, and then perhaps 80, and then 100 if they possibly can. 223 for 7. Pope on 74. Siraj bowls. Oh, Pope, not for the first time today, nearly plays on. He was setting off the single there. I think he was looking to run it away into the offside, into a gap. Inside edge, a ball ballooning in the air off the surface, and missed his stumps. Yes, 3 times today he's nearly played on. He played that over his middle and leg stumps.
He's almost trying to. He likes to play with intent, doesn't he? And if he's going to make a single, and he's almost playing that shot on the move. A bit too early.
There's a deep backward point in, deep forward square leg, fine leg. So 3 men out, 2 slips. Well, first and a third slip really. Siraj goes in and bowls to Pope. Pope's forward busily, but playing it to short mid-wicket. And there's no run. 4 saving a single, 3 out, 2 close catches. 223 for 7. Doesn't feel like a 223 for 7 pitch today, but of course some of the damage was done yesterday and a little bit this morning as well, in no time at all. 62 for 5 when Milan was caught by Rohit at second slip. That was a brilliant catch, wasn't it, by Rohit? A really good catch. Here is Pope playing defensively back down the pitch to Siraj, who knocks it up with his boot, and there's no run. It's one of those that if you see it in slow motion, you just don't really get a sense of it, of how it just went so quickly. Live, you see it go so quickly, and Rohit diving away to take the catch. And he always seemed Everything was right about it. It's beautifully synchronised. Snapped it up. Pope waiting, tapping at the crease, bent at the knee. Siraj goes in and bowls to him, and Pope drives. Nice looking shot, but straight to mid-off. And there is no run.
That second 11 game Chris Woakes played for Warwickshire Twos, 4-day game towards the end of August. First innings, he got a first ball duck, LBW.
Well, he's got past that today.
To the young Worcestershire seamer Adam Finch, and then a 69 ball 10 not out in the second innings.
No. So time at the crease is going to be valuable today. He's coming at a good time.
Siraj to Pope. Pope drives again, just mid-off. Again, there's no run. He's picked out the fielder. It's straight at him.
The other thing as well is that sometimes about you think today's a run day. You know, you look outside, you look at the conditions, and even though you might not be in touch, it's set up. You just mentioned 12 overs to new ball, perfect to get yourself in. And so actually, if him and Robinson in particular, who both have shown high quality ability to bat, I'd be thinking cash in for a nice cheeky score as well.
Siraj up to the stumps, bowls to Pope. Pope plays carefully into the onside towards mid-on. There's no run. It's the end of the over from Siraj. I wonder if Kohli takes off Jadeja and brings back one of his pace bowlers to the new man Woakes, or says to Jadeja, well, you've taken one. Let's see if you can get me a second. Get onto that front pad perhaps just before tea as well. Might get in 2 more overs.
Thinking 11 overs to the new ball. You want Bumrah and Umesh Yadav
fresh for it. Yeah.
And so I guess that's where the maths come in, isn't it? Do you want to just let them have that tea break and then charge in?
Yeah, because also as well, you don't want 11 overs of party time before the new ball, do you?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the game is slipping away from you. So do you take your chance now? Try to
have a quick dip.
Yeah, try to knock off the end of the England innings.
Yeah.
You know, what are we going to see here?
Umesh.
Yeah, they are going to make a change. And decided that with the new man out there, Woakes not having had much time in the middle, it's going to be Umesh Yadav to bowl to him. He's taken 3 for 66 from 16 overs. And this probably will be the final over of 40. There was a lot of discussion. I think Jadeja was going to bowl, and then they just changed their mind. Thought, come on, new man, let's have a go just before tea, see if we can nick another one out. If we can do that, then we're into Robinson and Anderson.
Chris Woakes' last 2 innings in tests. He made 40 in the final test in Southampton against Pakistan. Before that, magnificent 84 not out in the 4th innings chase at Old Trafford in the first test of that series. Didn't bat in the rain-affected second test. Made 19 in the first innings of that game. Before that, he'd had 8 single-figure scores in his previous 9 innings.
Well, he's on strike, and it's Umesh Yadav to bowl to him. Goes in now. Bowls to Woakes. It's down the leg side, and Woakes looks to glance. Rather missed out there. Through to Rishabh Pant. I mean, there's a reasonable case to be made for that being Woakes' best test innings. It's not his highest score, that innings against Pakistan, because he's under so much pressure. A fantastic partnership with Joss Butler on what turned out to be the last day. It's one of those days, actually. It was a Saturday at Old Trafford and the weather was good. If crowds had been allowed, it would have been an absolutely fabulous day. That's interaction between players, what England were trying to do in the crowd. Yadav bowls, Woakes tucked up, plays defensively into the onside, and there's no run.
More than a reasonable case, Simon. That is cast iron case. It's definitely his best innings.
What was his
137 not out against India at Lords, but
that was a match-winning innings against India.
Yeah, but England had bowled India out for 107, although they lost a few early wickets. They were sort of in control of the game. But that 4th innings 84 not out.
Yeah.
It's one of the finest innings by an England lower order player in Test history.
Right,
Simon.
That's told me.
Yes, it has.
This is Yadav. Bowls to Woakes, and Woakes nearly off the mark there, turning off his hip towards mid-wicket, picked up by Shardul Thakur. And there's no run, so we have got 3 balls until the tea interval, unless the wicket falls now, and then 10 overs and a new ball, 3 wickets left, and 32 runs ahead. Decent player to have coming in at number 9 if he can find some form. Wokes looks up, Yadav goes in and bowls to him. It's short, and Wokes just about gets out of the way of that. Seemed to surprise him a bit. Bending at the knees, getting the gloves out of the way.
It's good delivery there. You just can sense you can sense when a bowler, even when stressed or after a long spell, just senses there's an opportunity. Even though maybe tired legs, a decent spell, he's charged in that one and just a slippery ball into the surface.
Wokes, of course, batted at 6 in his first test here, 2013. Yadav bowls full and he drives for 4. Well, that's his signature shot. It was pitched up by Yadav. That's just where Chris Wokes likes them. And he hit that through the covers. Head down from Kohli at slip. The lead to 36, and Wokes is off the mark.
That's the shot to get into the game, right? Maybe haven't played in a while, but what he always has had is a very organised technique. And just very simple through the line, offered a little bit to lay into.
Ball back with Yadav for the final delivery before tea on this second day. What can Yadav produce here? Goes in now and bowls to Wokes, and Wokes plays a solid forward defensive shot to Jadeja. Extra cover. There is no run. It is the end of the over. It's the end of the afternoon session. And this fascinating second day, and we thought it was going to be an interesting day ahead of us, has not disappointed so far. 227 for 7. England are 36 runs ahead. The pitch is definitely easing, so that will encourage India for their second innings if they can finish off this England first innings reasonably smartly after tea with perhaps a bit of the old ball, a bit of the new ball. 88 for 2 in that afternoon session. England are desperately hoping to get up to 100 lead if they possibly can from here. It's not impossible. Pope's played really well. He's still there. He's got his eye on 100. He is 74 not out. And perhaps a lot depends on Wokes and Pope here, with a bit of help from Robinson and perhaps a smidgen of help from Anderson at the end. But 227 for 7 at tea, Ebony.
Yeah, I think that 100 lead you talk about is exactly what England will be feeling is very possible with the depth they have with Pope, Robinson and Wokes. Still resistance to be offered. But also for India, they can't get bowled out again. In their mind, if I was the captain, look, that we've had 2 shockers, the 78 all out, another. But they will still be thinking within 50, that sort of lead, if there was a lead of around 50, 60, 70, something meaningful. Yeah. I think that talk in the dressing room is still saying, look, one of us is going to stand up at some point.
You sense it's got to happen on this pitch as well. It's not a bad batting pitch now. Someone they've got enough quality to get in.
So this is why it's a good test. I think anything could still happen from here.
227 for 7 then. Let me just give you the bowling figures. I'll give you the card as well. The players out this afternoon. Bairstow was LBW to Siraj for 37. And Moeen Ali went for a big stroke against Jadeja and skied it to Rohit cover out for 35. The 2 partnerships, significant partnerships today, Andy.
89 in 22.2 overs between Bairstow and Pope, and then 71 with Moeen and Pope in 20.3.
Yeah, that just shows you how much the pitch has eased today. The conditions easier for batting. From 62 for 5, England have been able to recover. But it's all set up for another interesting final session today. I'll give you the bowling figures. Yadav, 17 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 70. Bumrah, 17 overs, 6 maidens, 2 for 33. Still 1 short with his 100th test wicket. Thacker, 12 overs, 2 maidens, 0 for 39. Siraj, 12 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 42. And Jadeja, 12 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 29. So 227 for 7 at tea.